In Parrot's recent video, TheobaldTheBird was captured by the law, but everyone already knows that. The real question is, what happens next? Is Theo actually going to die, or is there something else going on here? So here's my theory, and I believe there's a strong chance this is exactly how it's going to play out. FlameFrags is going to save Theo, fight off Sarge Law and the God of War who are holding him captive, and then, this is the insane part, Theo is going to train FlameFrags in TNT minecart PvP. Now, let me explain why this makes perfect sense. First, let's talk about what we know. Lattice says his commanders apprehended Theo, right? And we know that Theo was captured by Sarge Law and the God of War specifically. Now this happened right after Theo killed the Ouroboros at the Law graveyard. The guy literally made a tomb for Ouroboros and wrote loser on it. Man, Theo is actually great at being absolutely ruthless. But that means the law is down one commander, and they're probably extra motivated to make an example out of Theo. Here's where it gets interesting. We need to look at where FlameFrags fits into all of this. If you remember from the wiki, Flame has a history with both Parrot and Theo. Way back in the Nether Dimension arc, Flame actually worked with Parrot and Theo to steal from Clownpia's vault. But then he saved Parrot and Theo when Clownpia was trying to kill them. That detail exists for a reason. In Unstable universe, nothing is random. If they establish that Flame is willing to save Parrot and Theo before, it's because that dynamic is going to matter later in the story. Now, back with the theories. Parrot obviously can't endorse Lattice. That would be game over for his entire campaign and everything he's worked for. The Laction, exposing Lattice corruption, saving the server for tyranny, all of it would be finished. Parrot's going to refuse, which means he needs someone else to save Theo. Enter FlameFrags. But here's the thing that makes this theory really solid. Remember that PvP tournament in Season 2? TheobaldTheBird entered it and lost it to FlameFrags. So we know two things. 1. Flame is an absolutely deadly PvPer who can beat even someone as skilled as Theo in regular combat. 2. Theo and Flame have fought before and presumably have some level of respect for each other's abilities. That's a connection that can be built on. Now let's talk about Theo's TNT minecart skills because this is crucial. Way back in Season 1 during the Fallen's arc, Theo competed against Purple using TNT minecarts, and he won. He popped Purple's Totem of Undying and became a mission leader because of it. Think about that for a second. Purple, one of the most deadly PvPers on the entire server, got absolutely demolished by Theo's card skills. And then in Parrot's most recent episode, we see Theo use those exact same skills to kill the Ouroboros. The fight slowly drained Ouroboros' armor until he died. Theo is a proven master at card combat. So here's how I think it's gonna play out. Parrot can't save Theo himself because Lattice is watching him like a good boy. Any move Parrot makes is going to be scrutinized. But Flame operates outside the law's jurisdiction. He's not a candidate, he's not bound by the election rules. He's the perfect wildcard to come in and shake things up. FlameFrags is going to find wherever Sarge Law and the God of War are holding Theo. Maybe he scouts the location first. Maybe he goes in hot. Either way, there's gonna be a confrontation. Sarge Law and the God of War are two of Lattice's strongest commanders, so this isn't gonna be easy. But we know Flame won a PvP tournament. We know he's beaten Theo before. If anyone on the server can take on two Law commanders and win, it's FlameFrags. This fight is probably going to be insane. Maybe Flame uses invisibility potions. Maybe he just straight up fights them both. Whatever happens, Flame is going to overwhelm them with pure skill and break Theo out. Maybe he kills one of them, maybe he just forces both of them to retreat. Either way, he's getting Theo out of that. Now here's where the TNT minecart training comes in, and this is the part that makes this theory really compelling from a storytelling perspective. Once Theo is free, he's going to be grateful to Flame for saving him. But more than that, Theo is going to recognize that Flame has incredible raw combat ability, but could become even more dangerous with specialized skills. And Theo, being the card PvP master that he is gonna offer to train him. Think about it narratively. Flame beat Theo in the regular PvP tournament, right? But card combat is a completely different skill set. It requires timing, positioning, understanding of the mechanics in a way that regular PvP doesn't. Theo has mastered this to the point where he beat Purple and killed the Ouroboros using cards. If Flame learns card PvP from Theo, he becomes more formidable than he already is. He'd have his regular PvP skills plus master level card combat. That's a deadly combination. This also makes sense for Theo's character arc. Throughout the King's arc, Theo has been Parrot's right hand man, his backup, the person who saves him when things go wrong. Remember when Theo saved Parrot from the Wither? When he helped Parrot escape Purple during the Purge? when he fought the Ouroboros to protect Parrot and Wemmbu. Teal is constantly in the support role, but becoming a mentor to FlameFrags, that's a new role for him. That's Teal stepping into a position of authority and respect in a different way. That's also the strategic value here. Right now, Parrot is facing off against the Law, which is this massive organized force with commanders and soldiers everywhere. Having FlameFrags on their side is huge, obviously, but having FlameFrags trained by Teal in card PvP, that creates a specialist who can counter the Law's tactics. We saw how effective Teal was against the Ouroboros using cards. Imagine if Flame could do the same thing against other Law commanders. Now let me address a potential counter argument. Some people might say, wait, why would Flame help Teal? They're not that close. Great question, but remember, Flame has history with Parrot and Teal. He saved them before in the Nether arc, and more importantly, Flame has shown that he's willing to act against oppressive forces. When he worked with Parrot and Teal against Clownpius, it was because they had a common enemy. The Law is basically the new Clownpius, an overwhelming tyrannical force that's hunting people down. That's exactly the kind of situation that will motivate Flame to act. Plus, think about what Lettuce said at the debate. He claimed Wemmbu died in an explosion trying to escape custody, which was a complete lie. Lettuce sent the entire Law to kill Parrot and Wemmbu and try to blow them up with TNT minecarts at the graveyard. If word gets out about what really happened, and it probably will, that's gonna make a lot of people angry at Lettuce. FlameFrags might hear about this and decide that the Law has gone too far. The timing also makes sense from a storytelling perspective. The cliffhanger of Teal being captured is too big to leave unresolved for multiple episodes. Viewers are gonna want to know what happens immediately. If Parrot's next video doesn't show the rescue, then it's definitely gonna be from Flame's perspective or another character's. If Teal does get rescued by FlameFrags, that completely destroys Lettuce's leverage. The entire plan was to force Parrot to endorse him and go to jail. But if Teal is free, Lettuce has nothing. He looks weak because his commanders couldn't hold one prisoner, and he's now facing an alliance between Parrot, Teal, and FlameFrags. That's a massive shift in the power dynamic of the entire election, because it gives both characters something meaningful to do after the rescue. Teal gets to be a mentor and pass on his specialized knowledge. Flame gets to add another weapon to his arsenal, making him even more formidable. It's character development for both of them in a way that actually advances the plot. I also think this is gonna happen soon, possibly in the very next episode. The dramatic tension of Teal being captured is too high to drag out for long. Plus, we are clearly building toward a climax in this election arc. Lettuce has declared himself the intern of the server and put the election on hold. Things are escalating rapidly. Having Flame rescue Teal and then train with him sets up some incredible confrontations for the final episodes of this arc. Imagine the possibilities. What if Flame, now trained in card PvP by Teal, has to use those exact skills to fight the Law in a major battle? What if he faces off against Such Law, the God of War again, and beats them using the techniques Teal taught him? What if Teal and Flame team up to protect Parrot during a crucial moment in the election? The narrative potential is endless. So yeah, that's my theory. FlameFrags is gonna save TheobaldTheBird from Such Law and the God of War in what's probably gonna be an epic PvP battle. Then Teal, grateful for the rescue and recognizing Flame's potential, is gonna train him in TNT minecart combat, taking Flame's already incredible skills to an entirely new level. This creates a powerful alliance, disrupts Lettuce's plans completely, and sets up some absolutely insane confrontations for the rest of the King's arc. I could be totally wrong about this, but based on everything we know about the characters, and the way Unstable Universe tells stories, I believe there's a really strong chance this is exactly what's gonna happen. The pieces all fit together too perfectly. Anyways, that's my theory. What do you guys think? Do you believe FlameFrags is gonna be the one to rescue Teal? Could someone else step in instead? Maybe Wemmbu, maybe even Deputy Ace turning against Lettuce. And do you think the card PvP training is gonna happen? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and drop a like on this video because this is actually my first video. Goodbye!